Kyle, so with Trump winning today's presidential election, you can bet that these political parties on the right in this country are going to start banging the immigration drum even louder than before. And in some ways, they're not actually too wrong. It's estimated over the last 14 years that illegal immigration has costed us 40 billion, which sounds like quite a bit. But is it the biggest drain on our country at the moment? Let's put that into perspective. Tax avoidance and evasions by some large corporations and wealthy individuals cost the UK around 35 billion every year, according to HM Revenue and Customs Tax Gap estimates. So over the last 14 years, that's nearly 490 billion. Money that could have funded schools, hospitals, infrastructures, but instead slips through legal loopholes and offshore accounts. Then there's the money lost from the privatisation of our public assets. Services like railway, energy, water that used to be owned by us. They're now often controlled by private or foreign companies. Profits that should benefit everyone are paid out in dividends, with significant amount leaving the country. Estimates suggest that over 175 billion has flowed out of this country in dividends over the past 14 years. Money that could have been reinvested right here at home. Let's not forget about the Tory government waste and mismanagement over the last 14 years. Remember the PPE contracts during the pandemic? Billions spent, most of the equipment unusable or never even delivered. Then there was the controversial Rwanda asylum scheme. Hundreds of millions allocated to a plan fraught with legal challenges and ethical concerns. Combined, these missteps have cost us over 5.7 billion. And yes, the royal family's expenses are part of this conversation too. The sovereign grant and other royal costs have totaled at about 1.2 billion over the last 14 years. And that doesn't include the millions they've been making out of the NHS, councils, schools, prisons, army and every other services. So let's add that all up. Tax avoidance, 490 billion. Privatisation dividends, 175 billion. Government waste and mismanagement, 5.7 billion. And 1.2 billion for royal family expenses. That's a staggering total of over 672 billion taken out of our economy. Not by immigrants, but through systematic issues and choices made by those in power. So the estimated cost of 40 billion versus 672 billion. Let's let that sink in. The cost of illegal immigration is a drop in the ocean compared to what's being drained from our country by tax dodging, privatisation, government waste and even royal expenditures. They want us divided, pointing fingers at each other, blaming the most vulnerable, but the real issue isn't who's coming into the country, it's who's taking from it. And we're not saying there isn't a problem with illegal immigration. It is a problem that needs to be sorted. And the Workers' Party have the best plan to do this, focusing on the roots of illegal immigration, rather than being like the Reform Party and just saying stop the boats and we're going to talk to France. We've actually got a solid plan that's going to stop illegal immigration, but in a decent, humane way that will save the country billions. You can find out more about this plan by going to our website. Just search for the Workers' Party of Britain. And if you feel the same way that I do about many of these issues I speak about, then join us and help fight for a better Britain. Don't be misled. Look beyond the headlines. Immigration isn't the biggest issue. The issue is equality.